Still morning, good morning all. Parks O&M Committee, need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Ms. Frazier, Mr. Dickinson, any questions? All in favor? Opposed, passed. All right, we'll move right into your agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on there is a request to reimburse the Village of Lake George. This is for reimbursement for many things, supplies, turf management, attendance for the month of August, September, cleaning, maintenance on the south parcel, and some sprinkler and parking meter repairs. And that's the next 34 pages in your agenda.
34.
Very in the paperwork.
And what's the total amount?
That's what I was wondering.
The,
293.95, is that it?
the total amount is $9,039.33.
I think
It's
that's not
on
what's on
page 2.
34. It's at page 34.
Oh, no, that's just the backup information.
All right, what was that total amount again? I'm sorry.
The total is $9,039.33, and it's on page 2 of the resolution request.
You might want to make a motion, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Stroud. Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
The next thing on the agenda is a request to amend the intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Lake George, and this is, we brought last year to amend the municipal agreement for the monitoring system, alarm monitoring system that was installed as part of the Charles R. Wood Park project, but it was never turned on and never monitored or inspected. Now, last year we'd included the monitor and inspection of it, but now we also have repairs to it, so we want to amend the agreement so that we can reimburse the village for some repair and maintenance costs to the alarm.
Move that.
Second.
All right, Mr. Dixon, Ms. Frazier, any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If we never turned it on, why do we got repairs to it?
We didn't turn it on until last year when we changed the intermunicipal agreement to include the inspection and monitoring of it. So it's been turned on since last year.
What kind of repairs do you make to it?
Because it wasn't turned on for the number of years, battery systems and control panels depleted, so there was maintenance scheduled for that, and equipment and the labor as well.
How much are they charging you?
I don't know.
I think it was about $800.
$920 from New York Fire and Signal.
Is that a yearly cost, or is that just...
This is just the repair for now, for the maintenance at this point with the batteries not being turned on or the system not being turned on.
Right. I believe that included this year's maintenance as well. It's the parts too. Yeah. It's everything. I believe it included this year's maintenance as well.
So now they're going to take care of the maintenance on it?
I don't necessarily think it'll need an annual maintenance. I think it's just for them to come in and inspect it.
Yeah.
This was a repair, and I thought it wasn't just the batteries. I thought Dave Harrington had told me that it was also due to, say, a lightning strike or something, that's fried the motherboard in this system as well. So that's why this went. But now it's up and running. I don't know the exact yearly maintenance cost. But again, I don't. It's only if it's necessary. It's like a term agreement that only if we need them to do something, maintenance-wise, that they would do it.
Right, but I mean, everybody has alarm systems, and you pay a yearly fee for them to come in and
That's-
inspect it once a year.
That's the part of the inspection and monitoring, not the repair.
Should be that.
But that's what we're including in this to change the intermunicipal agreement.
That sounds like it, Chairman.
We got a motion and a second, it passed, okay.
That doesn't get a vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
The next item on the agenda is under referral and pending items. This was the deteriorating wall at the Tiki Resort that was causing some issues with the south parcel. I'm actually going to turn it over to Dennis because I believe he had a conversation with the owner of the Tiki, and then we can include Mary into the conversation as well.
Actually, Don's following all this, he reported it in the paper, and as soon as it showed up in the paper, I got a phone call from the owner, and I met him on site. We walked the site and looked at some of the issues he has. He has some surface water issues created by the construction of the new entrance road. The water comes down and cuts off into his driveway from the road instead of going past. It's a minor issue. It's his problem. It's relatively easy to fix. I think we can get him to do it. We then walk the rest of the site, and what happens is the water comes around this facility and comes down to a point where there's a drop inlet right next to our property. So it goes down the drop inlet, shoots out onto our property, and creates a lot of erosion and sedimentation right there. He is willing, I talked to him briefly about doing a joint project, putting a small retention basin on our property adjacent to his for that drop inlet to give us some settling pre-treatment before it overruns on our property as it always has. So he's willing to do that. I think if we talk to some of the e-groups, they'll probably participate. It's a good PR job. I'm sure the fund or LGA and or the Sterling Water.
Jim Lieberman's here from Soil and Water. Jim, are your thoughts on that? Just creating some type of sedimentation, potentiation? As Dennis said, they're looking for it maybe to be on our property.
Yeah, I guess, the water's already coming to the property, so that's one thing. It's not additional water. I don't know if there has to be some type of wording or agreement or leaving it on, maybe a maintenance for them, because you're affording them the opportunity to have a settling area on your property. But it's impacting the pond anyway, and I guess, Dennis, did you look at both walls?
Yes.
There's the two walls, so there's two sections of walls in that property.
Well, there's argument about the one wall is bowed, and it's been there 20, 30 years. That's gone anywhere. It is bowed. Yeah. You're done. You always take a second look, it's been like that for a while.
So if you thought that a system could be set in there, I guess you'd have to have some type of easement from him to have that on there. I would look at it maybe more leaving the maintenance for him the ability to have that constructed with the partners.
That's a possibility. The actual retention basin would be 99% on county property. Just as much property where his drop in.
This is up by pond too, right? That's by the second pond, right? That comes off the parking lot and comes down into the pond.
No, it's the first one. You know where the wall's really low there, where the driveway, and there's a lot of debris there, and asphalt.
Yeah, I think it's
That's the area we're talking
Okay.
about. Where it's bulging, he's put a new drop in there.
So I think our next step, I guess, is to reach out to possibly the 3Es as well, to discuss with them if they're in agreement with us doing this.
Okay. You want me to do that?
No, I can do that.
Okay.
Probably not gonna be able to do
Let me
anything
know.
this spring anyway, so.
Let me know, I'm glad to attend.
Is that there?
I am.
All right, so we'll keep in touch. See how you're doing with the E's. All right, Mr. Mayor, you want to make a report on the,
Yeah, first I'd like to, as many of you may know, Dave Harrington, our superintendent of Public Works for 27 years, retired last week, and I'd like to introduce you to Keith Lanfear, who was Dave's understudy for many years and now is our new superintendent of Public Works. So I'm assuming that Keith will take his place on this board after the first of the year, but I asked him to come with me today both for protection purposes and also to meet some of the folks that are here. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We have a request to use Charles R. Wood Park from the Glidden Revival Tour. This is a car show that is going to be in Saratoga Springs next May, I believe, and next September, excuse me. And they're coming to Lake George with about 300 cars to take a cruise on the St. Sacrament and then spend the rest of the day in the village. They've identified the Charles R. Wood Park as a place where they would like to park, so their cars will be secure while they're on the boat. They'll have members there to make certain that they're safe, and also for people to take a look at them if they're interested while they're there for about 3 to 4 hours. So I'm here today to try to set a fee for them, being that they're going to be there on a Wednesday. They'll be there for about 3 or 4 hours. We won't have any extra things to do, except obviously the restrooms will be open, and our attendant there will help to try to get all those cars inside the Wood Park. For events of this nature that were very short-lived and during the week, we usually have a fee of about $250. I'm suggesting that we charge them that fee to park there for 3 or 4 hours during the day.
Per car?
Any comments?
It's about $1 a car, basically. And I'm going to try to convince them to come up here next year.
That's good. Good publicity.
I'll move
way.
that.
All right, kind of motion, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Stroud, second. Any other questions? All in favor?
All right,
Opposed? All right,
thank you.
got it.
This is an update on the space itself. Number one, the bad news is we lost our first event, the Hemmings Motorsports, which was with us for 2 years. The week after the Adirondack National Car Show, that was the very classic antique show that was based out of Burlington, and their home base was the Fort William Henry. They were sad. They all came over here to see our staff. They've been bought out by a company from West Virginia, and the new owner is moving the show down there closer to where their home base is. So we have that weekend open. It's the only weekend that we're going to have open in September, and we're working to fill that week. The good news is we're working with 6 new events. I'm attempting to do a food wagon championship on May 16th and 17th, which will be a 2-day event. The response has been tremendous, and I'm certain that I'm going to proceed ahead with that. We're working with a lady from Saratoga on the Adirondack Barks and Brews. This is a combination dog show and brew show. I don't know whether the dogs drink or whether the owners drink the brews or what happens, but it sounds exciting. And she's going to book May 23rd and 24th. The big new event, in my opinion, that's going to be highly successful is Fins Up Lake George. That's the Jimmy Buffett tribute show, June 18th through the 21st. Some of the committee just came back from Key West 2 weeks ago, where they have the largest one in the country, and booked several of the bands and put Lake George on the map down there. There is also an Adirondack Spring Fling Music Festival, June 12th and 14th. This is a country and western show. The Fall Music Festival, September 25th and 27th. This is the show that Jim Anderson and Dave Emons hopes to bring a national band. And then I'm working with some bagpipers to put together a bagpipe competition and Scottish fair, and I'm hoping either to fill that space in September or bring them in July and August, so we don't compete with any others. But those are great events. I've been to a couple now. Patrick Dow from the Lake George Association is very active in their group, and I'm trying to work with him to put something together. So that's,
Is he a piper?
He's a drum major. He's the drum major for the local group. The only other thing I had is we took a trip up to Osable Forks. If any of you have never been to Osable Forks, in the middle of the winter on a day where it's 20 degrees, I suggest you not do so. Keith and I took a trip up there because the fire tower is there. And I'm just going to pass this around for the committee to look. It looked like a fire tower. It's there, it's been refurbished, it's in excellent condition. The gentleman was there that owns the fire tower, he was able to give us a tour. Well, I did not go up to the top, the canopy wasn't on it. We found out it's 60 feet tall, which is good in some cases and not so good in others, because we want to make sure people have a good view if they go up. I'm just presenting that today so you'll see what a fire tower looks like. The first fire tower ever erected in New York State. We're obviously waiting to hear on a grant that we applied for in the CFA round, and I'm assuming we'll hear about that in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which would defray the cost of a fire tower if we so choose to take advantage of it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayor, on all those events, can you make sure you get it to Lisa, the tourism or something, so we can be ready to promote
I have
it?
delivered a packet to her today with money,
Beat me to it. Very
with
good.
money inside that
Money.
packet.
That's even better.
That our village board has approved each one of them last night. So hopefully, as it stands now, the challenge has been to book July and August. We had some events there, the Big Apple Circus, Jonathan Newell. We're finding out that in July and August, it's hot there. Tent would be nice. We're also finding out that we're competing against a lot of other things in July and August. But the good news is that if all these events take place, next year we would be booked solid for May, June, September, and the first week in October. And that's shoulder season, so that's been our priority. But just 1 or 2 events in July or August are taking a chance so far. So John's idea of some cover is a valid one. Thinking about that for the future, because the events that we have had in the summer that did not have a tent and it was hot or humid out, there was no people there during the day whatsoever, and they were on the beach. And so thinking of the future, it's a valid idea.
Thank you for all your efforts, Mr. Mayor. Privilege to the floor. Anybody have any questions or anything else? You all done, Kev?
Yeah.
All right, motion adjourned. Dixon, Ms. Fraser,
Thank you.
adjourned.
You guys going back?
Yeah, why? No.